Statistically, children are going to school and jumping in front of trains. We're in a mess. Sorry if that's a little bit too hard hitting, but that's a fact. Within an abundant society, we have everything laid on a plate. We are the sickest and most miserable of any generation. It's a statistical fact. Mental health is on the rise. Our children are suffering. Right, we're just going to get this underway now. So I just want to ask if I can have, if this is a subject that perhaps you want to take something from, or maybe you know someone that is affected, maybe you're affected, whatever. If I can just have your attention, your full attention, which is actually is a really hard thing to do. And you'll notice that it's hard to do because even if you're intrigued by some of the things I say, your mind can pull you out. Because there's a stream of lots of things going on, what's going on work-wise, home, and this and that, constantly there in the background, which is kind of like the underlying teaching message of what I'm about to go through. So if I can have your full attention, for the reason being that there are some very, very powerful pieces of information that I'm going to pass on to you, and the reason I know that they're powerful is not because of any course or degree or qualification in this kind of subject, in this field. I'm going to use the term mental health because that's what everybody knows, but it's not a term that I like, but for many reasons, and I'll kind of, maybe you'll understand why, because in my opinion, really on the broader scale, you're either in good health or you're not. Do you understand? You're either in good health or you're not. And if you're not in good health through whatever choices, actions, maybe perhaps you're going through in your life, then obviously that's going to affect you physically. That's going to affect you physically, and mentally, not just one or the other. I've been working and dealing with people that have had all sorts of issues physically and mentally as well. And it's always on the back of that category, good health, bad health, or some external trauma, which is kind of a little bit separate, okay? So I want you to kind of have that in mind. So I've had to go through an experience, and I'm here to speak to you from a place of truth and nothing more. Now, I couldn't even go on a course. Now, the courses and everything are great, and everything that society's doing, your company's doing, mental health first, that's all good. I'm in full support of that, obviously, but there is an intricate Rubik's Cube. You all know what a Rubik's Cube is, yeah? The Rubik's Cube. You all know what that is, yeah? Yeah? Okay. There's an intricate Rubik's Cube that needs to be solved. Only you can solve it. Okay? Only you can solve it. No one else can solve it. But once you've solved it, only then are you truly in a position to start a butterfly effect of change. I've not solved it, but I know it exists, and that's a good start. So, because this is truth and because this is through experience, and what I'm about to talk about has profoundly transformed my life. Not change, yeah? I change my jumper each day. I can change anything, it's not a problem, change. I'm talking about sustained transformation. You see a man in front of you that is the polar opposite of what he was. I don't even know who that was anymore. I see it almost as like a character. I'm watching an old movie now when I'm talking about what happened. So I'm going to play a couple of videos to start with. Within these videos, obviously I can't account for any language difficulties. I know I'm going to elaborate on everything you see. I understand that some words might get missed, and actually this talk is fairly deep, so some of it may get missed, but some of it you'll definitely get, because I know exactly what you're going through. And I'll prove it to you over the course of the next 45 minutes. So please just give me that time and see, hopefully you can pick up something. A lot of what I'm talking about is reinforced on that sheet. And then obviously I've given you like website, YouTube, Instagram, because there's a bit of pockets of information on there. But this journey with this is ongoing, and we're doing a lot, and I'm doing a lot, and I'm always learning. So there'll be more to come. So if you're intrigued by what I say, then obviously follow, have a look at the YouTube. There'll be more content over the next 5, 10, for the rest of my life. I won't stop doing this, because I feel I'm onto something quite powerful. Like I say, transformed is a big word. We can all change, but transformed is really what we want. Okay. I appreciate you having me today, and mental health, they cry, a term for people who are dying inside. It's mental health, they say. Each day you will hear it as an emergence of death has occurred in this world. Every boy, every girl, lost, never found, as they scream on the inside, not making a sound. The men and women walk void on a path that surely, God surely, was never meant to be this hard. Society sits quiet as they count up the stats of all the men and women who jump from the rooftop flats, and the train tracks are littered with the pages of life story after life story that ended so poorly. And all the families gather together looking lost and confused at the loss of a used up soul that couldn't find their way out of the big black hole. It's a funny old concept, mental health. Some see it as a bad thing, whilst others see wealth as sertraline and Prozac fly off the shelf. Now, I'm not having a pop at anyone, heaven forbid. This is not the time to blame a huge profiting industry that works hand in hand with another industry that contaminates the food of all the boys and girls, the women and men who eat the food and pop the pills again and again. Let's just keep this strictly on point and discuss the serious matter of how we help one another find a way out of this diabolical future historical era, where a man doesn't die at the hands of Mother Nature, but at the hands of himself, because he listens to a voice saying, I hate ya, you're worthless and a burden to this world, so why don't you fuck off and make everyone happy, you pointless human being. Well, why would a man do that, you ask? It's mental health, society says. The same society that created this mess, and the same society that likes to address a problem after the fact of countless deaths. But didn't they see it coming sooner? And if they did, why didn't they do anything about it? Because they don't really care. Where there's loss, there is gain. But no one is gaining from death, you will say. Listen, these industries have been keeping us sick from the earliest days. Sorry, I'm going off track again, trying to point the middle finger. I want to make it clear what my purpose is with this message. It's to turn my back on mental health as an idea. You see, I'm a little bit dubious, suspicious, somewhat curious as to why when I was sectioned for a drug-induced psychosis, I was immediately offered drugs to ease me into a process that quite frankly is a little bit sketchy, because they don't really know what to do other than to keep you a little bit sleepy. Now don't get me wrong, the sleeping tablets were good, but the antipsychotics were bad because the severe anxiety side effects were driving me mad. For the record, I take full responsibility for what happened to me. The truth is, there was never a drug-induced psychosis. I know this in my heart. I'd had a little issue and I'd had it from the start. And when I say this, I mean from the youngest age, when a little voice inside my head tormented me most days. And this brings me to my point. I don't know anything about mental health, but I know a lot about that little voice residing in your head. The voice that likes to whisper and interpret all you see, that sees fit to run you down until you drown in the sound of that voice, until you can't take any more of that voice, which echoes the thoughts, opinions and ideas of all the influences in your life. But who said they were right? They just might have been wrong. The voice is the one that has influenced your bad choices, which have affected your mind, the mind that is not healthy and not equipped to deal with life anymore, which is why you see the logic in closing the door. Because you can't run, you can't hide, you can't simply brush it aside. It's a part of you, something you believe to be true, but it's not. My message is this: it's the voice that we face, not mental health. And I'm going to prove it to you so you can reclaim yourself.
Reclaim the you that was lost over time and find your light which is buried inside. Have a think about why I've said. And if you trace your depression and anxiety back, you will always discover the voice in your head.
Okay, that brings me, I appreciate that. Mate. Appreciate that. I don't normally get a single clap, to be fair. Everyone's quite tense and that. Listen, I understand why obviously when we sit here, we're either going to be like, well, what the hell are we talking about? Because it might not relate to you, it relates to someone. And let me tell you who it relates to. It relates to the family of the 14-year-old boy that jumped in front of a train 2 minutes from my house just 2 weeks ago. So you need to pay attention, and if you don't want to listen, you better have some respect for the people that do want to listen, because this is a serious matter, and it is affecting families, and it is affecting children. It's not about adults anymore. Before it was just adults. Statistically, children are going to school and jumping in front of trains. We're in a mess. Sorry if that's a little bit too hard hitting, but that's a fact. And then I've got the responsibility of coming and doing these talks, and I'm not sugarcoating a damn single word. Because I locked myself in a hotel room and I messed myself up pretty bad. And then 48 hours later, when they discharged me, stitched me up out of hospital, they then sent me back home to my family, and I felt a danger to myself because of something that was going on inside of here. And then without 24 hours, I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act and given drugs, and I refused. I refused because it was a big turning point for me. It was a big turning point for me because I started to look at my life and think, like, this doesn't feel right. Like, what's going on doesn't feel right. I had something inside of me that was saying, no, you got to fight this in a different way. And this presentation is an accumulation of 5 years worth of experience after that period of time, which affected my family, my children, my friends. But like I say, I'm transformed, so it's all good. You have an inner world, and you have an outer world. So this is the outer world here. We see it clearly in plain sight. Chairs blue, man with a big grey beard standing here with a busted arm, vending machines and colleagues. We can see. Now, if we all just be real quiet and listen to the outer world, listen. There's a cough, yeah? There's some like chewing maybe if you're sitting close to the munchers over there, enjoying the food, which you should be enjoying your food. And but it's quiet. But you can't hear what's really going on in my inner world. And this seems quite peaceful right now, right? It's chilling. But my inner world, I'm like, look at them all looking at me, man. They just think I'm some sort of dickhead and that. I'm just like, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't know what I'm going to say next. And they're still staring at me, and they're still looking for me. I don't know what I'm going to say. These people, they're expecting. Okay, I'm hoping that you just got that point. I'm just going to give little points like that. There is an inner world, and your inner world could be shaping completely your outer world. So instead of this just being one agreed thing here, blue chairs, some of you might be thinking something completely different. At 50% of you could be seeing this as a canteen, 50% of you could be coming here and saying, this is the worst place for me, this is the worst time for me is sitting here at lunch, because this is when the head goes crazy. Now, okay, little points, just keep trying to listen and follow what I'm saying, because it all just adds up. There's a bit of information on there, social media, YouTube, whatever, if you want to kind of just try and get a rougher picture. I'm going to play another video, and then I'm going to ask you a really serious question. Now, this concept was developed 2 years after my breakdown, after a massive amount of self-reflection. This ain't no joke what you're about to see. It's very different, a bit creative, but it has a serious underlying message to it.
What's it all about? That voice in your head, telling you stories, feeding you lies. I've learned many things in my life through paying attention and listening to what goes on in here And one thing is clear, that voice, he's a madman. The feelings you're feeling, concealing your seeing, are obscuring your viewing, distorting perceiving, which taints your perception, creating a victim. Now life is against you, when really it's just you. To be more specific, your mind is against you. The liar, the trickster, the crazy proprietor lay claim on your body, possessing for being the negative feeling. You're angry, you're seething, a heathen, a demon inside you. You feel it, he's got you, you trap him. Your life's with believing what's not true. The madman's a living and breathing imposter, imposing his will by the throat. He has got you, you're choking, no joking. Your air is restricted, your thinking is blinkered and clouded and shrouded in darkness. The blackness is blinding. You're finding your mind has been hijacked and pulled back to past, and you're losing this moment through fear of a future that's bleak, a bit dismal, depressing. The thoughts of your life as they should be, and wishes of could be, fall down all around you. The madman is winning, and soon he will crush you. But truth is, he's not true. The moment you cease to believe him, there's no more deceiving. You'll see so completely that you own your life, so the madman can't take it, and there's no mistaking. So take off the mask that you're wearing.
Right, so the serious question is this. The serious question is this. And obviously it is a serious question, so please don't answer in a sarcastic way or put your hands up if if the answer is not genuine. I need to before we continue this talk, I need to find out if that left microwave, the left one, bothers anybody in here. And I mean that genuinely, so it's not a joke, all right? It's not a joke. I mean it genuinely, okay? Okay. I need to also know if the middle microwave bothers anybody in this room. Okay. The right microwave. All three microwaves. Okay. We'll come back to that in a second, but I'm glad, probably if they're not working, you'd have all put your hands up, yeah? I'm glad about that. The madman, it's just an analogy. It's just an analogy. It's an analogy of the subconscious thoughts that fire in people's head 24 hours a day. And I'm going to give you an explanation and try to give you a light understanding, the best understanding that I can give you in this short space of time, because I've been doing this for 5 years. It's taken me 5 years to accumulate this knowledge, and it was through looking and self-reflecting. I got to a point after about 2 years after my breakdown, and I realized that 98% of the thoughts that came into my head were mad. They weren't helping me in any single way, and I started to defy them. Let me explain how. The only reason that I got through life, I had a breakdown after a 3-year descent of dealing with a life trauma through distracting, drugs, alcohol, bad food, distracting any way I could. And all that did was fire the thought process even more. And it made me even less resilient to what was going on. So I had a temporary relief through distraction, and amazingly so, I was a master at this. Because I was in the fitness industry, still am, for a prolonged period of time. And 3 years leading up to my breakdown, I was sniffing coke, smoking fags, drinking drink, and doing everything I could to try and get away from what was going on in here. And the only reason that no one knew was because of this. Because across that mask, I'm all right, yeah, cool, I'm fine, yeah, no worries, I'm cool. Right, come on team, let's go, let's start warming up, No one had a clue. No one had a clue. Everyone was shocked. They thought I was Mr. Happy, Mr. Motivator, or whatever. No, I was just wearing a mask, that was all. I realised that was something that we all do. And now I've spoken to many people that relate. And in fact, that Madman video, which we're actually creating a short film at the moment, which, you know, it's quite, you know, it gives a great insight. There's no actors involved. We're just getting real people to understand the concept. That video actually helped quite a few people. I got contacted even by a couple of therapists that said you was on point with that. And that was something that I just truly discovered for myself. No course, no nothing, no therapy, no nothing. I just kept listening, and learning. And I learned so much. And I'm encouraging you. We're not going to attack this situation from the outside, but from the inside, we're going to make a start. And yes, obviously, some sort of level of communication between us all, some sort of brotherhood of man is needed. We're in a time where we have to adapt somehow. Like for the sake of our children, otherwise we are leaving a mess for them for sure. You know, so we got to do something. Surely we got to do something. So an 18-year-old girl that I worked with who was a mess, she'd been in CAMS, and I'm not knocking any avenue, medication, I'm not knocking anything. Whatever you got to do to survive right now, do it. I'm just telling you how to obviously really look at yourself as well, which is powerful. Okay, I sat with an 18-year-old girl, we done 4 or 5 sessions with her. And she totally, like that flipped her, that did. It really flipped her. It flipped her so much. She said to her boyfriend, who didn't understand a damn thing what she was going through, she said, look, that's what's going on inside my head. And she had even had it, oddly enough, this was quite weird how we met, but she even had it down as some black sort of figure that's telling her and beating her down and telling her she's worthless. It is your past repeating itself over and over again. You can grow from it, or it can crush you. You can't run from it. Those of society who take that, what goes on in there, to be a fact of who they are, they realise that there's only one way out, and that's the sad times we're living in, because you can't go to the moon. You can't go to the moon. I can't go and get on NASA space shuttle and say, like, I need to get away from this noise in my head now, quick. I need to get away from this noise. I know what I'll do. Like, I can't go there, I know I'll go to the moon. Surely on the moon is quiet. So I'm going to get on the NASA, I'll go all the way up there, land on the moon, step off, and go, you're worthless. Ah, man. Like, you can't escape it. But you can confront it, and you can experience the same truth I did. It ain't got nothing to do with who you are. And I'm going to try and make some points now to prove that to you. So, concentration, attention, and awareness of thought. All of this whole journey started with running. I had a year, I picked myself back up off my feet, and I thought, I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and run. And boy did I run. After 3 years, I smashed both my feet up, broke my foot, fractured my foot, and I'd done everything I could to kind of toughen myself up. But where I thought I was getting fit, and I just logically thought that would toughen me up, something much more powerful happened. And the knowledge that you're about to hear is part of one run I did that kind of flipped my mindset, if you want to say. Go runs a bit deeper than that, but let's just say it flipped my mindset. So I'm going to put some slides up. Just going to quickly, I want you to read them, because now what I'm about to do is based on these slides. Yeah. But instead of keep stopping and so on, we'll just get them all out the way now. So I'll elaborate on a couple perhaps, okay? So that's what we're about to look at now. This is a fact. So this is not my knowledge, this is actually a fact. They say by the time you're 7, the traits of you when you're 40 are from what you learn from 0 to 7. Because from 0 to 7, your conscious mind, the ability to go, no mum, or no dad, I don't want that, that's not in my best interest. Can you stop behaving like that in front of me, because I'm picking up lots of bad language and lots of abusive behaviour. You can't say that. So you just absorb it all like a sponge and potentially mimic and replicate their flaws and their problems in your life, potentially. Okay? It's a program and you can change it. But a lot of people don't realise that. They just assume that who they are, me, Tom Pace, this is who I am, and that's a fact. So, Hitler, Hitler was a thinker, and look what he did with his thoughts. Socrates, Greek philosopher, he was also a thinker, and look what he did with his thoughts. I hope you understand the power of that. Right there, just in that, just one thing, the power of that. Make you go, right, okay. Thoughts are powerful. They can be creative, they can be destructive. You have the power to create, you have the power to destroy. And that's just the black and white of it, really. It's just the black and white of it. So it's just a real first initial acknowledgement of that. Even that's a starting point. So, if you was to become massively self-aware, you would feel this happening on a day-to-day basis. You think about a woman or a man, sensations in the body follow, feelings in the body follow, potentially emotions in the body follow, because your wife just cheated on you, and the thoughts of that comes into your head, and emotions start to flare, right? So it could go the other way round sometimes, in that you may get a sensation first and then thoughts start firing. But either way, both strengthen each other. But thoughts are the underlying key. Thoughts are everything, and thoughts can amplify massively quickly sensations in the body, feelings in the body, emotions in the body. I'm going to show you a couple of quick demonstrations in a minute on how to control it. You can't control it, that'd be the wrong word, but to live with it. And when you can live with it, it starts to fade. It starts to fade. So what happens if your thoughts are generated by the madman, the subconscious? I'm going to show you that now. This picture, I put this picture because it's quite relevant for me, because one, obviously I'm playing a character. I'm playing a character, and that's all it is a character. The madman and the subconscious mind and the thoughts are no more real than Santa Claus. It's no more real than Santa Claus. And let's look now back to our childhood. On Christmas Eve, 5 or 6 or 7 maybe years old, maybe 8, 9, 10, I'm not sure. Like, I believed in Santa until I was about 11, I think. I was devastated when I found out he weren't real. Let's go back though, real quick. It's a powerful example of belief. A belief. You believe in Santa, what happens on Christmas Eve? You're excited. So real. Santa's coming, presents. And adrenaline's coming, and excitement's coming, and the heart is beating, and I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I'm like awake and I'm tossing and I'm turning. It sounds a little bit like anxiety, right? Very similar. And it's all about belief. And then what happens when you finally realize Santa's not real? I'll sleep easy Christmas Eve now. No problem, I'll sleep easy. You believe in him and the thoughts inside your head. It is a living reality for you. And I'm playing that character, but I lived many years like the man Slumped, who is a friend of mine, and he's not an actor, and he knows all about the madman himself. A living reality. So, the microwave, thankfully, was not a problem. But what if it was a problem? What if this gentleman here, right here, it was a problem to him? So, this is what would have happened, see? He would have walked in the door first of all, nice and relaxed, chilling with his Lucasade, just relax, another nice day. And then he's clocked the microwave. Man, and the microwave's a problem to him. And he's clocked the microwave first and straight away thought, there's a microwave in here, and immediately a sense of anxiety and just a bit of edginess and slightly worried about it, just on edge, because he doesn't like microwaves. So then what he's done is he's come to sit down in front of me, and he wants to pay attention. He wants to engage in the outer world, the reality that's here. But in his inner world, his thought process is bam focus. The madman's telling him that microwave is there and it won't let him off the hook. And then he just starts to then follow the thoughts. Yeah, what if the microwave? Well, what if the microwave does this? What if the microwave does that? Okay. So now I want to ask a question. Okay, I'm going to elaborate on this point. I want to ask a question. So now we have identified that this gentleman, there is an issue with the microwave, but what is the fact? What is the actual fact? Is the fact that the microwave is the problem? Or is the fact that the man's perception and the man's emotions and the feelings and response to that microwave is the problem? What is the fact? Is it the microwave or is it in his inner world? Someone please just shout out the answer. It is 100% inner world. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to say now to this man, well, behave yourself, it's just a microwave. That would be insensitive because this man has got real bad anxiety and that ain't a nice thing to go through. Now, he's got bad anxiety about a microwave, okay? Because basically when he was young, his father smashed the microwave door into his face several times. That's why he's got a problem about the microwave. So we can't then say that his problem is small and we know that we need to address it. We know that the microwave is not the problem. So what we can do, like the senior manager, Darren, is not going to go, right, okay, my man, so what's your name? Danny. Wicked Danny. He's going to say, Danny, all right, no problem. What we do, we remove all the microwaves from the building. Sorry, team, no more microwaves. The microwaves are clearly a problem. You can't do that, right? You agree, right? We can't do that. So we have to start looking within and start solving, finding a solution and working a way to solving his problem. And obviously his problem's coming from past. So we start to look, we start to talk. It may be therapy. But what I'm trying to say is, problems in reality can be small. It's just a small microwave. But in your inner world, they can be huge. And once amplified by the voice inside your head, that microwave becomes a deadly, deadly, deadly experience for you to be haunted on a day-to-day basis until you face it, until you face your fear, until you face your past, until you face your future. So, I want to talk to you about, I will do a demonstration about exactly what I just spoke about. And we're going to use stress as an example. So, because people are getting a bit sleepy, this is the perfect time. I need every single person in here to stand up on your feet, and I need you to make sure you've got like an arm space distance both sides between anyone around you. Because you are all going to, in a minute, you're all going to hold your arms out to the side. I'm going to do something with you, an example here. So I need you on your feet, please, if I can ask you. It's a powerful demonstration. It's a powerful demonstration. All right. Relax your arms, relax. You got instructions. This is instructions. So stress is stress, and how you handle stress is exactly the same. Physical stress, mental stress. Are we listening? Right. So physical stress, mental stress is exactly the same. And I'm going to show you how to handle it, because you can't, when it's there, it's a part of you, can't run from it. I'm going to show you how to handle it, right? So, and this is going to have another demonstration on the back of it, so you can understand how this correlates to the voice, to the man inside your head. So, you got instructions. In a second, I'm going to ask you to put both arms out to the side. You have them dead straight, fingers nice and tensed. Obviously, both arms, yeah. Palms facing down, and you'll do a real nice, neat, tidy, small circle. Okay, and you're going to do that for 3 minutes, right? Okay, so you're going to do it for 3 minutes. But what you need to do is this. No facial expression, you can't change. You must stay relaxed. You must stay calm, and you must stay composed. Your attention is on these things. Your attention is on your breathing. You'll want to just keep focused on your breathing. That's obviously to pull as much attention away from the mind, from the burning. But I also want you to focus on the burning really hard and the sensation really hard, and try not to interpret it. So what you're going to notice is this. Thoughts will start to come. Your demeanor will change. Your psychology will change. And you'll start to hear thoughts like, how long have we got left? I want to stop. And the power of the thought that makes you stop is this. When I go like this and say, I've had enough, you will never be able to prove it to me that you were at your true stopping point. What happened was this. A thought came. I've had enough. I'm going to put my arms down. And you follow the thought immediately, and you put your arms down. I'm telling you that you can ignore the thought through considerable amount of discomfort just by standing there composed. However, if you do put your arms down at any point, I just want you to put them down composed. The main thing here is to handle stress as it builds in a calm manner. Because think about it logically. If I go like this, oh my God, this is killing me. What difference does it make to the sensation in the arm? It makes it worse. If I stand there like this and go, right, it's stress, but I'm going to handle my stress now. I'm going to control my mind. I'm going to control my response to stress. It's a powerful little tool. I'm not saying you've got to do arm circles every day, but you do it with anything in life. When the stress comes, you sit with it. Okay, I'm going to set the timer for 3 minutes. I hope your arms are fresh, hopefully not too tired. Okay, and we'll see how we get on with this. All right, I'll let you know when every minute has passed. I'll let you know when you're in your last 30 seconds. It's a mindset. Mental toughness is a serious, important thing to start to develop in the whole field of battling the mind and so on, okay? But this is just one thing. You don't have to do this at all, but this relates. You ready? Arms out, back straight. You can close your eyes if you want, or open if you want, but I like to do this and just go 3 minutes. Here we go, in silence. Nice and quiet. Now pay attention. Pay attention. Guys, pay attention. Listen, feel what's going on. You can almost give yourself like a 1 to 10, like, yeah, I'm at stress level number 3, and I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm not budging. I'm still here. Sit with the stress for a minute. Let yourself stay calm and handle it. Self-control. Body's not moving. Just control your body. Command your body. Like, have you ever done that? Command your body. Say, look, I'm not moving, mate. Set yourself the task. I'm not moving. I've got to be quiet. I've got to breathe. I've got to pay attention to the burning. I want to feel the burning, but I don't want to complain about the burning, because if I complain about the burning, that's not making it go away. So sit with it. And even that doesn't go away, but when you finish, you're calm. When you finish, you're calm. You've done a minute. You've got 2 minutes left. Ignore all thoughts inside your mind right now. You can hear them, but don't budge to them. Don't budge to the thought. Now your stress level should be rising, maybe 6, maybe 7. Stress is stress. Handle your stress by sitting with it calmly. Calmly. You do this on a day-to-day basis. Stress and the mind noise that creates it starts to subside. You'll gain control. You're halfway now. You're halfway through the stress management. This is great stress management. You've never done stress management like it. But you feel pain though. So with stress. Come on, let's see. Now you're in the most ultimate stress now. Life is really hard now. Like, life is so uncomfortable. I can't know what to do. What am I going to do about the shot? No. Shh. Just stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. For those of you that are really persistent and the arms are firing, give me one more big deep breath now. One more big deep breath now, and calm yourselves back down. 40 seconds left. That feels nice, doesn't it? It's like a tingly, nice warm tingly sensation, yeah? No? 30 seconds left. And in the face of real bad pain, just stay calm. Don't let the face screw up. None of it helps. None of it makes it better. Let's just pay attention. Let's listen. 10, 9, 8. Martin, I need you, son. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't sit down. Shake your arms. Don't sit down. Cut the things right now. Listen. Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, if any of you exercise at the gym, the purpose of this is I realized, when I first realized this, I realized through running that you don't have to listen to what the thoughts say. So the thoughts saying stop, slow down, quit. And I was just listening but carrying on. And that just had a powerful shift on me, because I thought, well, if I can ignore thoughts whilst I'm training, surely I can ignore thoughts in my everyday life. Don't do this, it's dangerous. You're worthless. Still, calm, listen, and eventually they get less and they get less and they get less. And this is the analogy, excuse any bad language, but this is basically what you do. Listen to this. You can't stop thoughts. You cannot stop them. but you can listen very calmly without reacting in any way. And this is what happens. We'll say 45-second period, and I'm going to say that's equivalent to a 3-year period of constantly listening from me.
Why don't you give it up, mate? You're fucking useless, you are. Give it up. There's no point standing talking to these people. They don't want to listen what you're going on about. Too busy eating, on the phones. Who gives a shit what you're going on about? Give it up, Tom. Rubbish. Useless, mate, you are. Give it up. Sit down. Get in the van. Let's back up. Let's go back. Come on. Come with me now. Forget it. Give it up. There's no point, mate. You're good. How was this?
It's just a voice.
Come on.
And that's all it is. That is all it is. You can't deny it. It's a thought process. Are you thinking, or are thoughts happening to you? If you can uncover that and discover that, your life will start to change. The level of control you have on your mind will start to change. Where are these thoughts coming from? I'm in a situation with my girlfriend and I feel really jealous and insecure. And then thoughts start to come. She's looking at him. Where has that come from? I deny all of it. I deny all of it. I was sick to death of listening to that voice inside my head. So I decided I'll cut, a little bit of a fighting background, done a bit of boxing before. I stepped inside the ring before. I thought, you know what? I'm having a little fight with you now. I am not going to be beaten by you. And I started to fight. And understand, please, it's hard. Please, there are some serious traumas to get over. Abusive backgrounds, I've worked with people now all across. It is very hard. But the only way you free yourself is by starting to understand that this is past primarily. Let's put your feet together here. One more demonstration before you sit down. Put your feet together. Right. This is the here and this is the now. Now, you cannot deny that you are here now in this room. Yes or no? We are here all together in this room. Okay, if you take one small step to your left, do that now. Right, bang, you're not in this room anymore. You can't see anything in this room anymore. You can't even hear me. Why? Because the madman, because the subconscious mind, because your thoughts have just taken you to yesterday, to last week, back to your childhood, to a relationship breakup that happened a month ago. Now you're trapped inside a prison of your mind. You've got all this noise going on in your head. Yeah, but this and that. You've got feelings of guilt. You've got feelings of regret. You've got feelings of remorse, and it's tormenting you. You can't even eat and digest your food because the past is tormenting you. And you've got to do this. You've got to go no and bring yourself back into this room. How do you bring yourself back into this room? Look around you, bring yourself somehow, distract yourself somehow. I know that it sounds almost cliche about the breathing side of things, but it's powerful. Look at your hands, study the lines in your hand. Do anything possible to take the grip back from the mind in a refusal to say, you're not going to ruin my life. Now, if this is a repeated thing every single day, the same past, the same memory, address it. Of course, yes, talk. Of course, see a fellow man on edge about the microwave and say, look, what's up, brother? Look, please just talk to me, man. I can see you're struggling. They say, yeah, it's this. Okay, why don't you go and see someone? Why don't you go and talk to someone? You have to do it. We have to adapt, team. None of this ego, none of this bravado ain't working anymore. Men, grown men, solid. I went up to Scotland construction industry. I thought they were warriors up there. They are all jumping in front of trains. No one can beat this. You have to face it. You can't run from it. So you bring yourself back into the now. Good food, good nutrition, clean water, less alcohol, less drugs will give you a much, much better ability to be able to do what I just did there, which is effectively, it is straightforward. You're there, you go, no, bang. Okay, and then we take a small step to the right. Okay, and smash. Madman's got you again. Now it's like, what if? Yeah, but this is coming up over there. Can you not see the danger over there? Future, worry, fear. We're out of this room again, and now you're looking and you're thinking, yeah, but I've got this debt, and I've got this and this and this, and your mind is turning something that hasn't happened yet into a serious problem now. It takes you out of reality and it eats away at you and it destroys your life. Now, if you are having these thoughts on a day-to-day basis, even subtle, they are so tiring. And we need to stay rooted in reality. Sit down. Thank you for listening to that. Martin, where are we, man? 5 minutes. Yeah, cool. Right, I'm going to be base. I'm going to thank you so much for that. Again, you're the first audience that's ever clapped. You know what I mean? So that's. I've been speaking now for since 2017, and just sharing. That's all. And that was the best clap I ever had. So I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. You don't understand, because it just does. And I'm hoping that clap meant it wasn't for me. I don't want it to be for me, actually. Please understand, I'm hoping that you clap because, yeah, I got that. That maybe sparked it. I really hope that happened. So, one thing before I play the last video is we can make a difference, okay? But the outside world and society, they're not in no rush. And you know it, they're not in no rush to help us. They ain't in no rush. The schools ain't in no rush, really. Everyone's starting to look at it now and make a dent, and within companies like this, which is amazing, by the way. This is the most serious turnout I've ever had, and I'm like, yes, thank God I'm in a company that takes it seriously. Thank God for that, because this does matter. We can make a difference, but we have to make a difference to ourselves first. Responsibility. If we say, right, it's all my responsibility, then straight away you give yourself power. You give yourself power. You take it back from your boss. You take it back from this company. You take it back from society, because I changed my inner world and everything changed. I can't even begin to tell you. Everything changed. It's a process, it's steady, progressive, but start to listen. This next video, it was the first video we did, and at the start we were just looking at motivational videos, but every single word in this was written 1 year after my breakdown. The training footage in it was because I'd reached the point where I was so clean, and I was training my arse off, running up and down cliffs. And I felt like I was in good shape, and it was natural, because I'd had a past of steroids as well, and I'd let go of all of this stuff. So this was really like, after I was a shattered man, and then all of a sudden I really picked myself up, and that's when Unstoppable was born. And understand now, and exactly what it means nothing will get in your way. And I realized that this was getting in my way, and this is my life mission. Freedom from this, escape from this, and as much silence as I can get. Because when you achieve, even like I was 100% noise in here, and when it started to disappear, my energy levels, man, I was rejuvenated. People say like born again or whatever. That's like it's an amazing experience to go through, and I encourage you to, to start looking. Like I say, if you're feeling, start to look.
Anything is possible. You just have to ask yourself exactly what it is you want. It won't be easy, you'll get tired, you'll get beat down, and everyone will try and get in your way. That's called life, and life happens to all of us. You either fight or you give up. You see, most people don't realize that they have the power to change any aspect of their life, and that's tough. But with hard work, dedication, commitment, and a will so strong, nothing can stop you in the pursuit of your dream. It's time to step outside your comfort zone and face your fears head on. I had to go to the darkest place in my life to find out one truth. You eventually have to face up to the consequences of your actions. Change your mindset and start looking at the world with a different set of eyes. Set your goal, believe in yourself, and if you can work through the tough times, you will find out one thing: you can be unstoppable.
you from the bottom of my heart for listening today. And I just want to say, before I close, I've got a lot of love for all of you in here. And the reason for that is because colour don't separate no man, religion don't separate no man, creed don't separate no man, culture does not separate any man. We're all the same underneath. It's only the mind that separates us all. And that's why now I realise that, and I've got a lot of love and a lot of time for everybody, and I'll never stop doing this. I will never stop. If you have any questions, I welcome them. And again, thank you, and I hope that you took something from it today. Appreciate it. Thank you, mate.
That's fucking quality.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate.
Do you do meditations on that?